Welcome back. We're diving into our fifth explainer on Daniel Kahneman's incredible book, Thinking Fast and Slow. This time, we're talking about the invisible forces that are constantly shaping our decisions. Are you ready to see the hidden strings that guide your thoughts? Let's jump in. So let me just start with a question, and it's a bit of a weird one. Are the thoughts you're having right now, the choices you're going to make later today, are they really truly your own?
Well, according to Kahneman, our minds are constantly being nudged, pushed in certain directions by these subtle, invisible cues all around us. There are these unseen forces shaping what we think, how we feel, and what we choose. And they're doing it all silently in the background. Okay, so the first and maybe the most powerful of these invisible forces is a concept called priming. You can think of it like the secret appetizer your brain is served before you even know you're about to make a decision.
So here's the wild part. Just seeing or hearing or even feeling something can kickstart a whole network of related ideas in your brain. And once those ideas are woken up, they can influence what you do next. And you'll never even realize there was a connection. And this isn't just theory. This plays out in some really fascinating ways. There was this famous experiment where people who just briefly held a cup of warm coffee were way more likely to judge a total stranger as having a warmer personality, more generous, more caring, than the people who held a cold one. The physical feeling of warmth literally primed the idea of warmth. Crazy, right? And listen, this is not just some quirky lab experiment. Advertisers are absolute masters of priming. That uplifting music in a car ad, it's not just background noise. It's priming you to feel excited and positive about that car. Those pictures of beautiful green fields on a food package, they're priming you to think health and nature. It is a powerful, silent persuasion that is happening all around us, all the time. All right, let's look at the next invisible nudge, which kind of builds on this. It's called cognitive ease, and it's all based on a very simple truth. Our brains are basically lazy. They're wired for efficiency, and they always prefer the path of least resistance. So anything that's easy to read, easy to understand, or feels familiar, it just feels right to our fast-thinking system one. We completely mistake that feeling of ease for a signal that something is true or good. If it's simple to process, we're way more likely to believe it and to like it. And get this, for a real-world example of how powerful this is. Studies have actually found that when companies go public, stocks with simple, easy-to-say ticker symbols like KAR do better at first than ones with confusing names like XYFL. Why? Because investors are subconsciously mistaking how easy the name is to say for a sign of a better, safer investment. And a direct result of this is something called the mere exposure effect. You've definitely experienced this. A new song comes on the radio and you're like, it's okay. But then you hear it again and again and again. And after a while, you find yourself singing along. That repetition creates familiarity, which creates cognitive ease. Your brain then translates that easy feeling into genuine liking. So if our minds are getting pushed around by coffee cups and catchy songs, a really big question pops up. Can you ever actually trust your gut, your intuition? I mean, this is a huge point. It might seem like the answer is just a flat-out no, that our gut is totally unreliable. But Kahneman's research shows it's a bit more complicated than that. The answer isn't never. It's more like, it depends.
So what does it depend on? The environment. Turns out, intuition is reliable only when two things are true. First, you're in a regular, predictable environment, and second, you've had thousands of hours of practice with quick, clear feedback. A firefighter's gut feeling is reliable because the physics of a fire are consistent, and the feedback, good or bad, is immediate. But a stock picker? The market is fundamentally unpredictable, and feedback can take years. Their gut feeling is much more likely to be a cognitive illusion.
Okay, let's bring this all together. We've talked about priming and cognitive ease. The final step is learning how to actually spot these invisible nudges out in the wild, in your daily life. Once you know what you're looking for, you will see them everywhere, in the simple, bold font a brand uses to make its claims feel more true, in the carefully chosen words of a news headline designed to prime a certain emotion, even in the way a negotiator might offer you a warm drink to make you feel, warmer and more agreeable. Look, the goal here is not to make you paranoid or to distrust every single thought you have. The goal is just awareness. Understanding how this stuff works gives you a choice. It lets you hit the pause button and ask, wait a minute, why do I feel this way? Am I responding to the facts here or to the warm coffee in my hand? That simple shift takes you from being a passive passenger to an active, critical thinker. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. Based on everything we've just covered, which one of your own automatic judgments, your own gut feelings, are you going to choose to take a closer look at today?